So for those of you that don't know, in real life, I'm a truck driver Monday through Friday. And I was driving from St. Louis to Kansas City yesterday, and it got me thinking about something, why I like solo camping. And like, if I go from St. Louis to Chicago on Interstate 55, I can get I can get up there and then just set the cruise control at the speed limit and just kick back and cruise and listen to podcast or whatever and just go on down the road. But going from St. Louis to Kansas City, that 250-mile road is just nothing but chaos. It's so congested and everything, and you're just constantly, speeding up, slowing down, doing, avoiding accidents and all kinds of stuff. And I might be able to set the cruise control for 2 minutes here or maybe a minute there or whatever, and you're just constantly, it wears you out, versus 50 Interstate 55 where you can just sit back and cruise. That I-70 between St. Louis and Kansas City, it just that 250 miles will wear you out way more than any other 250-mile stretch of road. Um, so it's kind of the same way with different types of camping. Like, my wife and a friend of ours like camping in this RV. The RV stays at this campground all summer long and everything, and they can just go out there and camp, whenever they want to. And man, that when I sometimes I'll join them on a weekend for a night or maybe 2 nights, and I usually take my hammock and go walk off out in the woods and sleep out there. But it's just so much chaos because it seems like the door is being slammed like every 30 seconds, just constantly, 24 hours a day, somebody's going in and out. There's always, we got to do this, we got to do that, or they'll cook. And granted, they do the majority of this work, so I'm not saying I do it, but they'll cook, and the whole process, cooking all this food and everything, it takes a couple hours, and then we eat, and then you got another hour of cleanup and everything, and then by the end it's about time to start lunch. I mean, there's always something going. You just can't. You might be able to sit down in a chair and relax for a minute here, 2 minutes there. It's kind of like driving between St. Louis and Kansas City, and then so especially if I spend the night in the camper too, so I'm dealing with that 24 hours a day. I by the time it's over with, I'm just ready to go to work so I can relax, because so that's why I started. I'll just take my hammock, and at least at night I got a little bit of peace and quiet and could just unwind. Um, but camping out in the woods, nature has a flow. It's just real slow, gentle flow in the way nature moves, the way the animals move, the way the water moves, the way the wind moves, and everything. It's just kind of got its own little flow. And whenever I go camping by myself, leading up to it, I'm kind of excited and I'm getting my gear together, and there might be a little bit of chaos involved in all that. But then when I get to where I'm going, get out of the car and put my pack on, and I don't literally do this, but it's kind of like I just take a deep breath and let it out and just relax and slow everything down, and then just go out into the woods and match up with that flow of nature. Um, and even like if my wife goes with me or something, and I enjoy it whenever she does come with me, but there's a little bit more chaos because now instead of me just going with the flow, and if I get hungry I'll eat, if I don't I won't, just kind of going with that natural flow of everything. I was planning on camping here, but now I'm going to camp here, or whatever. With her, I got to make sure she's taken care of, and she's happy and all that kind of stuff, which I don't mind doing. But and then even stuff like we get up in the morning for caffeine. I'll either take a can of Rip It or Red Bull or something. I just pop the top and it's done. Or I do like this morning I got the Black Rifle coffee and just pour it in some water and there's my coffee. Where she'll has this whole process, and all these little gadgets she's got to bring and everything, and just making the coffee is a whole process and stuff. And when I go by myself, there's none of that other distraction, none of that other, we got to do this or do this or whatever. Most of the time, I don't even build a fire, especially during the summer. I don't even build a fire because that's just one more thing I got to do. Got to go. Now I got to collect wood before it gets dark, and I got to do this, and I got to do that, and I got to keep an eye on the fire, especially in the beginning, to make sure it doesn't go out, and all this kind of stuff. I don't like to deal with that. I just want to just relax and just enjoy being out in nature and just watching the animals move. Because most of the time when people are camping, they won't even really hardly see any animals, because they cause such a disturbance in the flow of nature that animals just will stay away. And uh, so I see a lot more when I'm out there by myself and everything, and it's just a whole lot more relaxing, and I come out there fully recharged and everything. Some of the other camping I've done with like groups of people, I can go for a little bit, be a little social butterfly, hang out with people, talk to them and everything, but then I gotta go away and just kind of recharge and everything, uh, which is nice, and I enjoy seeing the people and spending the time with them and stuff. But I hate when I go to relax that while I'm doing it, I gotta step away to relax. When I like that, I hang out with the people and everything, but I gotta step away. I want my whole trip to be just relaxing, just calm and smooth, and going with the flow, and whatever happens happens and stuff. And when I go by myself, I don't have to worry about all the other stuff. I just go. And if I have my intention is to go to this spot to camp, and then I'm walking along and I just see some other place, then it's like, well, heck, I'm just gonna stop here, and this is where I live at now. And I don't know, solo camping, man, it's just, I enjoy, especially like with my wife, being able to spend time with her and everything. And camping with her in the woods is different than camping with her in that RV. There's a lot less chaos and everything. But when I go by myself, I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to take care of anybody. I don't have to do anything. I just go. And I prefer like keeping my trips under 5 miles or even just a mile or whatever, because backpacking, especially if you're putting in some serious miles, you're just constantly going, just going and going and going, keeping an eye on the watch. You got this many miles to go before it gets dark, and whatever. And you're kind of interrupting that flow, of nature. And you're just trucking along, got your head down, and just one foot in front of the other, and just going. When you go for shorter trips, you don't have to worry about that so much. You got plenty of time to get to where you're going. If you want to stop and eat lunch and chill out for 2 hours, or if you see something and want to go explore some little area or whatever. I mean, you just got time. It's more like the natural flow of nature. And I don't know, if you've never solo camped, it takes a while to get used to, and all that kind of stuff, being out in the woods by yourself and everything. But man, if you can do it, it is so, it's just so relaxing. You come out of the woods, you're a different person. Any stress, is gone. You're just so much. And people, even if they go out and camp, they don't, whether it's by themselves or with other people, they miss out on a lot of it, because even just the way they walk, like in Indians, for example. If you Indians team, back when there were a lot of Indians, you could tell a foot trail if it was Indian or, well, a white man, because the trail of a white man is wider, because they're used to walking in the city and they're just clomping along, and just where, as the Indians used to walk, they'd walk more one foot in front of the other. And um, so the trails were narrower. But that you get that even just that, the white man, the interrupting the flow of nature, they're always tripping over, kicking sticks or rocks or stubbing their foot or doing this or doing that or whatever, because they're fighting that flow of nature. The nature, there's hills and valleys and ruts and rocks and sticks and everything, and like animals will just move around and wind around and just go with that flow, where we people come in there and just tromping along, and everything, and oh, this is great, I'm out in nature and I'm enjoying it. No, you're fighting nature, you're not just slowing down and just going with the flow. um, I don't know, it's a completely different world, a completely different experience camping, like I like to, where you can just relax and truly enjoy the flow of nature and just go with the flow, and versus just, okay, here I am, I'm here. And I've seen places where I've went to many years ago, and it might be a great spot with a great view and everything, and it's, man, this is beautiful. And then going back years later, and now more people have discovered it, and now there's rock trails out there, or even worse, paved trails, and there's all kinds of people going around and everything. It's the same place and the same view, but man has came in there and just took it over and trashed it out and built roads and sidewalks and handrails and this and that, and just totally disrupted that flow of nature, and it's just not the same. And people do that when they go camping with, that's why I don't carry a lot. I don't carry a lot when I camp by myself, not because I want to be lightweight or anything like that. It's just the less stuff I have, the less stuff I have to deal with or stress with or get working, or you're just totally disrupting that flow, and people come out there and they'll camp, and they're tromping along, and they get there and they clear out all the brush and sticks, and they put their tent or hammock or whatever they're setting up, and they clear out all this to build their fire, and they go chop down all this stuff, and then I got to set up my thing here and set up this thing over here, and you're not enjoying nature. You're trying to take it over and make it what you're used to, and it's a totally different way of camping. And that's why I prefer solo camping, because most of the people that camp, they just go in there and take over nature instead of just enjoying it for what it is, and I don't know, there's a different world out there that even though people that do a lot of even people that do a lot of camping never get to experience, because you're just, even unknowingly, you're just fighting nature. um, and I there's a whole different world out there to experience if you just kick back and relax and just go with the flow and truly enjoy being out there. And I started learning that when I started doing, many years ago, when I started doing more survival stuff. Just not the whole bushcrafting and all that crazy ass crap, but just going out there and maybe sleeping under a bluff overhang, or building a small debris hut to stay in or whatever, and just not fighting nature, not clearing it out and making it what I want it to be, just kind of going. And that's why I say with bushcrafting, I don't do that, because they'll go out there and they got their saws and their axes, and they're chopping down and they're building and everything, and building. They'll use ropes and stuff to tie the logs and the trees and build this shelter and everything. They're basically building a house, the way they're used to camping, and you're just coming in there and taking nature and making it what you want it to be, instead of going with the flow, where versus just sleeping underneath that bluff. Nature's already made you a shelter. Just go with the flow and enjoy what nature already has. Or even building a debris hut, just taking, there's a fork in a tree, laying a log on there and putting some more stuff on top of it, and building a nice little hut. You're just going with what nature's already provided instead of going out there with saws and axes and ropes and building this freestanding structure and all that kind of stuff, you know. Just my opinion, and I'm not trashing anybody that's into bushcrafting. I think there's some valuable skills in bushcrafting, but I think you're not truly enjoying nature, what nature provides for you, and going with that flow of nature. You're going out there and making it what you want it to be. Um, I don't know. That's why I like solo camping. I can just truly be out there immersed in nature and go with the flow and just enjoy it for what it is and not make it what I want it to be.